Do you think you have what it takes to become a proctor? Today we will explore all of the necessary information you will need to know before starting your journey. A proctor is a person that monitors a live examination. In live proctoring, a human proctor monitors the test taker in real time as they are taking the exam. The proctor can intervene if any suspicious behavior or cheating is detected during the assessment, or reviews recordings of an examination to ensure it upholds establishment rules. With record and review, the exam session is recorded, but the review of the recorded footage is done after the assessment is completed. There is no real-time intervention during the exam, but the proctor can grade the candidate's behavior right after, noting any suspicious behavior then. They are also there to guide the candidates during their test-taking process. Candidates are permitted to have their devices, including one monitor, mouse, and keyboard. In some cases, candidates can drink water in a clear glass or container. However, items such as food, beverages other than water, cigarettes, papers, and calculators are not recommended to be used during the test-taking process. As a proctor, you should check if you've been assigned to a new session. To do that, first log in using your Proctor account credentials. Go to the Testing Center tab and click the Testing Session button, and look for the session you believe you are assigned to. If you can't find the session using your Proctor account, it means you are not assigned as a proctor to monitor it. The proctor role is allowed to see only the sessions where they are assigned. You should stay in communication with your proctor manager, who has access to this information and who is eligible to assign proctors to sessions. To assign proctors as a proctor manager, you can log in using the Proctor Manager account. Navigate to the Testing Center tab. Click on the Testing Session button. Type in the search bar the name of the session you would like to assign a proctor to. This process should be done before the start of the session. Click on the three dots and then click the Manage Proctors button. Click on the Assign Proctors button and then select one or more people from this table. Now the people we have assigned will be able to navigate and view this session in its assigned time. Now the process begins. First, log in at least 1 hour before the session with your Proctor account. You should already be added to the session you will monitor. Click the Candidates button. Pick a session by clicking this button and then search for the one you were meant to monitor today. When you do that, only the candidates from that specific session will be displayed here. Before the test begins, the proctor can also view any special accommodation requests from the candidates. Special accommodations refer to adjustments or modifications made to the environment, tasks, or processes to ensure equal opportunities and accessibility for individuals with disabilities or diverse needs. Special accommodations should be requested before the exam. Usually, the administrator or the candidate's manager will request the accommodations, which can range from physical needs such as food or extended time requirements. In some cases, a one-on-one session with the proctor will be requested. When the proctor receives the request, they can view it by opening their notifications and clicking the Preview Special Accommodations buttons. And click on Special Accommodations. Click on this button and view the request. Until the proctor decides the status, it will be sent to pending. Approve the request if it is valid for this candidate, and reject it if it's not appropriate for this candidate. Additionally, you can add a comment and click the Respond button when you are satisfied. A proctor check is required to be made. In the case of live proctoring, the proctor will pause the session so as to prevent the candidate from doing the exam before an identity and environment verification has been made. Only after it's done, the session will be resumed. Click on the Pause Session button. The dialog will appear where you need to enter the pause message. And finally, click on the Pause button. To complete the proctoring check, access the proctoring dashboard by clicking the Supervision button. To check the candidate's face picture and ID, click on the test name to open the session parameters. To check the environment, click on the Overview. If the provided ID or the environment is not responding to the exam standards, contact the candidate by turning on your microphone and ask them to show a valid form of ID or to demonstrate the environment again. This position requires the proctors to have a strong background in attention to detail and the ability to multitask. If the candidate fails to do this, you can shut down the testing session back on the testing center's monitoring settings. If all is all right and valid IDs and environments are shown, follow these steps. Click on the Resume Test button to allow the specific candidate to begin the test. The proctor should repeat the same steps to check and resume the test for every candidate who joins the testing session. Now let's discuss the exam rules and proctor reactions to violations. The general rules are: if a candidate breaches 3 different rules, resulting in 3 warnings, the proctor will terminate the test upon the 3rd warning. If a candidate is cheating during the exam by using unauthorized materials, such as cheating sheets or seeking assistance from others, the exam should be terminated immediately without following the standard protocol of issuing warnings. Some of the possible violations can include, but are not limited to: the candidate's camera or microphone stopped working, the candidate is not sharing the screen, the student gets disconnected, the candidate uses a mobile phone during the test, the candidate opens new tabs in the browser, the candidate does not look at the monitor, the candidate is not in sight of the camera, aggressive or abusive behavior towards the proctor. In this segment, we will discuss communication with the candidate. Proctors can see the candidate, hear the candidate, and view their screen at all times. The general rules are: the proctor must maintain a consistently respectful and professional communication approach towards both the candidates and other proctors at all times. Always ensure that the microphone is disabled once communication with the candidate has concluded. Proctors can communicate with candidates using the chat and microphone. It is possible to also share screens and use open cameras. They can send files and attachments if it is necessary as well. The proctor should contact the candidate in the following scenarios: when the candidate needs assistance, the proctor should contact the candidate simultaneously through a message and using the microphone to provide help. When a violation is noticed, an incident message should be sent. You can choose a message from the predefined warnings or issue a message in the chat box. Select the Incident toggle button. Send the message. The candidate will have the test paused until he confirms that he saw the warning. Send a normal message to resume the test for the candidate. After the proctoring session is finished, the proctor should resolve all proctoring reports by grading them and entering a comment for each one of them. The process of grading proctoring reports include: click on the report icon. The proctoring report dialog will appear. You select a video for which you are leaving a review for, if this candidate has had more than one attempt, and view the recording. Rate it positive if there was no violations, rate it negative if there were clear violations, and rate it neutral if this is uncertain. If there are proctoring reports on which it is not clear that the candidate cheated, but there is a suspicion, rate it neutral. Now let's discuss the record and review process. The record and review method of proctoring is not a live variant of monitoring. A recording will be made and stored for the proctor's future viewing. Typically, these sessions don't have a tight time frame when they can be done, and instead have a longer period, even 2 years. As same as the last method, we should click on the three dots and then select the Manage Proctors button. Assign the proctor to choose an already assigned one from this table. The regular proctor should log into the application and review the recording at least 12 hours after it's been made. Go to the testing center and then on Candidates. After choosing the session, you will see a list of candidates in the table that need to be reviewed or have been reviewed already. So how do you know which candidates to check? We will use the status and the proctor's comment filters. Set the status to report incompleted. This means that the test attempt has been completed, but it has not been graded yet. You can check how many comments were left in this field, and you can set the proctor rate to undefined. Then you can enter the recording simply by clicking on the camera icon. Now you can slide the timeline from start to finish, from finish to start, and pause it as you see convenient. Their activity is color-coded to represent normal test-taking and suspicious behavior. There is additional settings to help you determine the validity of this attempt as well. You can also leave comments here and download this as a PDF file, which should look something like this. Except for leaving a comment in the recording environment, you can do so in the same fashion as the live proctoring method, by clicking this icon and choosing a rate. For further information and assistance, you can see the user manual and our instructional videos in the top right corner of the You Test Me application, and view a dedicated Wikipedia page for proctors. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.